Hello everyone, how did you do on the quiz? How did you feel on the quiz? And now we're going to the answer. So for answer 1, the answer is quite straightforward. It is pre-entry because that's a time when we consider whether we are globalized or not. We consider the route for globalization. The second part is B. If you are still unsure, like I actually went through this diagram on the lecture. So in part A, we're actually reinforcing of determining factor whether it works, basically whether the capability are reached, what capability do we have to change, what do we have to develop, and what resources do you have, and our goal of management before we actually implement strategies to solve the problem. And B is the stage where we already perceive the effectiveness of the chosen strategy. That's the time when we know whether they succeed or not. So we ask the question whether they succeed, and then we'll realize the effectiveness of the chosen strategy. And for question 3, the answer is C, because in C, as I mentioned before, when the physical capacity is much larger than the managerial capacity, it means management is not able to manage the amount of physical capacity. Although in this case here, you are wasting some kind of managerial capability, but after B is equilibrium point, but after B, when we reach C, actually you be pretty risky. We may not be able to manage our staff. We may have coordination issues and end up in many problems. And this question is definitely true because NGO, which are non-profit organizations, are important stakeholders. So, and as well, governments in foreign countries, they are part of the sustainability stakeholder. So stakeholder, as I mentioned in the video, are those who have interest inside the business. So it doesn't have to be managers, although managers and employees are those internal stakeholders, and external stakeholders can be just environmental communities, can be a non-profit organization, can be government, can be society clubs, community clubs. They all can be stakeholders. So although they may pressure the business or they may not, depending on the country, depending on the awareness, depending on how much pressure they're putting, but they're definitely a part of sustainability stakeholder because they definitely are able to add pressure to the firm to apply more innovative ways of production, for example, to resolve environmental issues. Question 5, the answer is value chain sustainability. And question 6, the answer is current profit with our reserve resources for future economic activities. This is actually the definition for economic sustainability. This means we are kind of use a current profit and we reserve certain resources for future activities, which our goal is basically, for example, to implement some renewable energy sources. This is also environmental sustainability, but this is able to conserve energy for future economic activities. So you always will have certain solar energy or wind energy. You'll always be having that to help you to generate electricity. So economic activities are closely linked to environmental activities because if you're able to propose different ways to save the environment, it may mean that you will have a longer term. The world will have a longer time to continue economic activities. So the answer is B in this case. For question 7, the answer is A, innovating activities. Because when they develop newer processes and be more consistent, supportive of a sustainability effort, it actually is an evidence of innovative activities. And for question 8, it's pretty straightforward. It is creativity. Because creativity, when we have communication, controversy, concurrency among members, and we are kind of a supply partner, and we require connectivity and collaboration. So that's pretty much about this quiz. This quiz a bit harder compared to the other because there are more sentences, more words, but it should be straightforward if you understand this concept very well. And I'll see you guys in our final quiz. So we finish all the lectures. And there's still a final quiz, and I'll go through the answers. So there will be at least 2 more videos on this lecture. So please stay tuned, and maybe you can do some prayer revision before you want to head up to the final quiz. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.